Welcome back to the Good Up Podcast, formerly known as the Beautiful People Podcast. I am Hey Isa, also known on the social media streets as Girl Meets World, and I'm one half of your Good Up co-host. I'm joined by my sister girl Deidre, also known on the Good Up streets as at Finding Deidre. Make sure that you're following her. Deidre, we're back.
We back, girl. Where we was at? Oh my God.
We are so glad that you guys could join us. Of course, you know that we bring you a chronicle of all types of human shit and shenanigans. We talk about any and everything on this podcast. So remember that you can catch all episodes on Apple, Spotify. You can catch bonus episodes on Patreon. I keep saying that, and we haven't gotten to the bonus episodes yet because your girl is busy, but we're going to, okay? The bonus episodes are coming soon.
Whole empire in these streets. She got things.
It's like a newborn. It's like a newborn emperor. It's not there yet.
It's a baby emperor.
It takes so much time. But the bonus episodes are coming soon. And then of course, you guys know our hashtag is hashtag Good Up Tuesdays. So make sure that you are talking about this episode and all of our episodes on social media, and we will repost you and like share your thoughts because we love Ayabad. We are joined today by three amazing women who are paving their own lanes in the name of business and being self-made and entrepreneurship. And since y'all are what I would describe as self-made, not what Forbes would describe as self-made, because Forbes likes to like highlight Kylie Jenner when she already had money. Y'all are actually self-made. Since you are, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourselves so that you can tell our Good Up listeners about you and what it is that you do.
Hey everyone, peace and love, blessings and more power to you in the sound, everyone in the sound of my voice. My name is Zara. I'm from St. Croix. I'm a serial entrepreneur, model, author, whatever you want to call me, I'm it, and more. And just here to add value and continue to grow.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mercedes. I also am from St. Croix. I am a chemical engineer by trade. I'm a licensed esthetician. I own Exora Botanical Beauty, which is a skincare line that I formulated for Black women specifically. And I also am known as the skincare bully across these streets because I basically bully everyone into having a consistent skincare routine. So I think I've had my brand for about 9 years now. Yeah, that's me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ivy Walls. I am a community entrepreneur from Houston, Texas. I'm currently a farmer and nursery owner, as well as I own different brands and different social media companies that surrounded by community. I think that's pretty much it. I'm the Ivy Files. So really anything that I pull out the drawer is what I'm doing today.
I love it.
Like that.
Yeah. All three of these women are people that I've followed for a long time on social media. When you said skincare bully, I died because I'm like, she actually does bully me about my skincare on Twitter and like doesn't even know it. Like she is consistent with it. Like y'all need to get your shit together, okay? But yeah, I think that we have the perfect combination of women on this podcast today because we are talking about owning your own business. And I think Deidre and I are the younger business owners in terms of like how long we've had our own brands and businesses and coming up in that. So I am so looking forward to this conversation. If this isn't your first business, if the one that you're currently like, this is your baby, this is what you're doing full time, how old were you when you started like your first hustle? Like your first thing that you did that wasn't a traditional job that you were like, okay, I need this second stream of income. I need this money to get paid.
Well, I'll go first. My first hustle was in 7th grade. I used to sell cookies and I used to make like $200-$300 a week and I was killing it. I would buy anything I want. I would take like me and my sisters. My sister was the accountant. I was the marketing person. My younger sister was the one who would do the measurement. My mother would help us bake. And we was like straight up buying everything.
Hustling.
Hustle, girl. Hustle.
I love that.
I remember those people at school and I always used to be like, yo, like where do they get this stuff from?
Me
Like, they're
too.
always selling shit at school.
I always like, I always wish that I was that kid in school, but I want to know, is this something that you and your sisters were like, Mom, we want to start a business, and she helped? Or is this something that you guys like, did you guys witness your parents be entrepreneurs? Like what clicked that made y'all say we need to start selling some cookies at school so we can do what we want? And
I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather has a supermarket that's still open in Antigua. It's 100 years old. I have like family members that have trucking companies and stuff, you know, entrepreneurship. And I told my mom at 5 that I ain't working for nobody.
Period.
So, yeah. I end up working for somebody, but then that bug came. I was like, I ain't doing this. I work too hard to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like in high school, or not even high school, in college, I had no desire to own a business. Like that was as far away from my mindset that I could even possibly think of. But I used to sell papers in high school.
Hey, listen,
paper.
They used to be buying them papers from me, for, like them research papers and stuff. I was making money. I paid for everything for prom and stuff with my money from thing. I was like, I made some coins my senior year. I didn't have nothing else to do. I barely had classes left to take. I was like, why not? You know, people was paying me for it. Let me go ahead and do that. But in my head, I didn't even think about the fact that like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm like, this is my little hustle or whatever. I didn't even think about it that way. Because again, like when I got to college and I was in my mind, my thought process is I'm going to go work and, you know, I wanted to work for Johnson & Johnson, funny enough. So I never thought about working for myself. That just kind of happened on a whim. When I was living back home, a friend just kind of like gave me the idea, and that's how, you know, my business came about, because what I was trying to do wasn't happening. So I was like, well, I don't have to make this happen myself, because, you know, this is something I want to do. And basically nobody's ever been able to stop me from doing whatever I want to do. So
amen.
I just started it.
So I can say that I've always been like community oriented. It wasn't really about like the money. So when I was 7, I had my own arts and crafts club with my own agenda. And it's like, you arrive at this time, you bring your supplies. And it was like my little girls club. And we would do arts and crafts together. And then in high school, I started a photography business with my friend. And so we went around to all like the high school events, the parties, and we would just be like we would just take pictures and stuff and do like senior photos or couples photos, best friends photos, things like that. But like my actual like getting my LLC and like getting it started was senior year of college.
For me, it was the same. Like high school, the earliest thing that I could remember was being in the jazz band in high school and finding out that we didn't get paid for things. Like when we did gigs and stuff, and asking my band director, like, sir, excuse me, hi, why the hell don't we get paid for this? Because we need money. We're a high school band. We don't make money. Like, and he was just like, oh, well, people, you know, they expect the high school to just like come for free. And I was like, we could be raising money for like uniforms and instruments and stuff by getting paid. So why aren't we getting paid? So I legit like, he, you know, God bless the man, but he wasn't the most organized person on earth. So he basically like entrusted me with that, like deciding what our pay rate would be and like how long we would play for and like set lists and stuff like that. And it went from that to like college. I also wrote papers. Like I can write a 10-page paper in maybe an hour. Like it's nothing. It's really easy for me to do. So I legit was like editing papers, resumes. Even when I was in college, I was like writing grants for people back home, like just random stuff I was always doing. And I was making money off of that. You know, then I tried to monetize my blog. It sort of all like led to my business now, which is the Masha company. But like, it was like little things here and there that I was like, oh, if I do this, I can make money this way. And like all of those things that I learned kind of came together.
I agree with that. Everything that you do,
this is a whole different monster.
Build up to what you're doing now.
Yeah.
The minute I filed for that like LLC officially, and I was just like, oh shit. Like I don't know about y'all, but the minute I filed for it and it was like legal, I was scared.
Why?
I was just like, this is not, because I've been a freelancer for so long, and this was me like officially moving away from like the side hustle, so to speak, to like, okay, this is a business and I have to, everyone was like, oh, most small businesses don't last past the first 5 years. And Ivy and I are very similar in that when people say shit like that, I'm just like, Ben.
Yeah.
Me too.
Challenge
Yeah.
accepted. That's my favorite
Alright.
response. Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you guys brought up stories of like childhood hustles because I forgot that when I was in college, for some reason, I always had an abundance of ice when I was in college because I had a system. I had my little ice trays. So I would make ice, but I would store them in like gallon sized Ziploc bags. So I always had a lot of ice. So when we drank, our drinks could be cold. And I started to kind of have a reputation for always having ice. So I would sell my ice. I would also sell my toiletries because again, I'm a natural homemaker. So I always have an abundance of like soap, toilet paper, like toothpaste. When people would run out of like bars of soap, they knew they could come to Deidre.
Like grandma.
I'm like the mother. Like you come to if you
That's a hustle though. That's a crucial hustle.
If you come to my house right now and you get stranded in a snowstorm, I most likely have something that can fit you. I always have brand new toothbrushes. I always have extra food. Every single thing you could possibly need. If you need to run away from whatever you have going on and you can't pack shit, don't worry. I got everything. Like
that had to have been like super clutch though, because like look, y'all, I'm about to air out high schools in the Virgin Islands. I don't know about y'all's. Central, our bathrooms were not equipped ever. Like there were days you would go to multiple bathrooms just to look for one that had toilet paper.
Yeah, you like soap and toilet paper were never in bathrooms.
Yeah.
But this was when I was in college, when I lived on campus. Because when I like to shop in bulk. I don't like running out of stuff. It's just very important to me to not run out of stuff. So when I was in college and I was living on campus, and people would forget to buy soap, they knew, go to Deidre, you could buy some soap from her. She most likely has extra soap.
That's clutch.
People was making their little cocktails.
You was a little dorm commissary and shit. Like,
so, that was my first ever side hustle. And then when I was 24 or 5, I started catering desserts back home. Cause again, the homemaker part.
I remember that.
I'm a really good baker. And so my sisters were like, you need to start selling this. And I was like, I guess, but it grew like so fast. When I left St. Croix after Maria, and I was just getting to that point while catering desserts where I was starting to remove myself from my full-time job to focus more on my baking. Like it was really supposed to just be a little side hustle, and it ended up being something that I was really proud of, that did really well. And I was very proud of it. But now I'm out here.
You out here pulling cards and telling people they're pregnant. We'll talk about that later.
Life story. But like to piggyback on what Heiza said though, every single thing that I've done, every job I've held up to this point, even the things that didn't feel relevant, all of it was just little puzzle pieces to form what I was meant to do now. So yeah, I'm grateful for every experience.
I can concur with that.
Definitely.
So what was you guys' aha moment? When was the moment where you were like, the current business you have now, where it like really occurred to you, like, this is what I need to be doing? Like,
I would say just first day out the bat, like Beyonce. Beyonce won 10K from Beyonce NAACP. I was like, okay, this is my first. So
I remember
August
that.
17th, I thought I was going to leave my job on August 17th, but I ended up leaving like 2 weeks before. And like the first day of me not having a job, like I woke up on Beyonce.com and I was like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be at.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And it really didn't cost me to get there. I didn't have to labor myself. I didn't have to lose anything. I didn't have to, sell my house off or, suffer for it, and everything worked right out.
Yeah.
When that happened, like, Deidre, I think you might remember, like, I legit was like, Beyonce knows who Ivy is, and I'm friends with Ivy, which means Beyonce knows who I am in like a way. Like I was freaking out. I was just like, oh my God, Ivy got a grant from Beyonce. Like, I was freaking out.
That's so phenomenal.
It was so exciting, like, to watch Ivy, because, she had been talking about, like, when I met Ivy was talking about, like, seeds and like planting your seeds, and like she would give out like seed packets at different events that she had, like when she was Miss Prairie View at school, and like for that to grow into what she's doing now. Oh my God, that's me. When it grew into Ivy Lee Farms, and just sort of, you know, when people do things and it's just, it feels right, or it just looks like that they're in their zone, or they're in their lane, or where they're supposed to be. That's the best way that I could describe. And the fact that just like once she started, you know, especially once you left that job and you were like, this is what I'm going to be doing, and you took that step, it felt like the universe was just like, oh, you leaving that job? Here you go. Here's this. Here's this. Here's that.
It goes. What's meant for
Literally
you will never pass
Definitely.
you by. Like,
and I know it's like I think that was like the definitely the superficial confirmation for me, because I had felt it. Like I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, you know, you feel that power that you have in it. I actually had it on my altar August 17th in June. I didn't know what was going to happen. It was like my absolute confirming.
For me, it was a transition. Like I still, every business is different. So in college, my dorm room was a straight up salon. Like I had the washing bowl. I was a RA, so I didn't have a roommate. I had a freestanding dryer. I had everything, like a legit salon, and I was making like $1,000 a week just doing hair. And then I was like, okay, this is cool. I like hair. Maybe I should have a salon. Then I graduated from that. And, you know, I did the modeling thing, traveling here and there. Was the beauty and natural hair editor for Caribbean Posh magazine for a little bit. So I thought, oh, maybe I should be doing blogging and fashion. I like to look good all the time. So maybe that's it. And that was good at the time. And then I worked for the governor's office for a little bit, doing labor relations, and that was cool. But then I was like, I don't want to be an attorney. So let me see what, like, that turned into doing marketing for this big company. And then I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Let me do my own thing. So after Irma and Maria, I sold my car. I sold everything in my apartment. I only had like 2 suitcases. I bought myself a first class ticket to the Midwest that I never been before. I opened a restaurant, and it was hard because it was like culture shock. It was weather shock. It was people. It was everything shock, right? And I'm in the middle of this place that I don't know. But hello, high water, this is going to happen. And it was difficult because I had to choose. There had days that I had no hot water because I had to pay a down payment on this, or I would juggle paying my light bill or putting my down payment for that. And I made it work. And the first day I opened a restaurant, I sold out in 2 hours.
Amen.
I sold out like $6,000 worth of food in 2 hours.
Amen.
And I was like, okay, now I know. But now I have the restaurant is popping, been on PBS, been on the cover of Feast magazine, top 10 rising star in the culinary world, all that stuff. Now I'm transitioning to, okay, people see what I've done and they're asking me how I do it. So now I'm helping other people do it. So I'm a PR brand strategist. But now that I'm doing that, I'm knocking rubbing shoulders with all these millionaires that want to invest in this. I want to invest. So I don't feel like I reached that pinnacle yet, because this time next year I go be a millionaire. I just saying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next year I go be a millionaire.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
The best is yet to come, because I feel like you said earlier, everything I do is just like a building block to that step, and I don't think
exactly
I reached my step yet.
Exactly.
I love when people say things on this podcast, because then I could go back and look back and like, you see this person who's like on Forbes, she was on a podcast and she said this at this time. We were there.
Hello.
But yeah, what about you, Mercedes? What was like your aha moment?
For me, it probably had to have been when Chrissy Teigen paid for me to go to esthetician school. Like, I feel like that was the moment, because the way how it all happened is like everything clicked at the right moment, at that right time. Because at the time prior to that, I had went through like a hard time. Like, I didn't know what I was doing with my business. I didn't know, I was just everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Like, I was struggling financially. I had started like working again, and I didn't know, what direction I wanted my business to go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, do I want to keep it? And I just didn't know. And then one day I just kind of like woke up and I figured out what I wanted my brand to look like. So I had kind of like rebranded that, and I had started doing different things. And during that time, I said to myself, I really want to go to, esthetician school. And when I was looking up the schools, I was like, okay, well, based on these times of the schools, to have school, I was like, well, I can't work the job that I'm working.
Mhm.
Ended up losing that job, right? Crazy enough. And I said to myself, okay, well, whatever job I'm gonna find, it has to be overnight because, you know, I need to go to school in the day.
Mm.
I got a job, did all of this stuff with the intent that I was going to school. Did I have the money? No. But I planned everything around going to school. So I
Mhm.
found a job, you know, I started doing all this stuff. And then I started like a little fundraiser on Twitter to help me like raise some money or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, if I don't raise everything, at least I can like get the down payment and I just make the payments, you know, every month. Cause at the school you could pay monthly. So one night I'm like at work and I'm like, I post the link to like the fundraiser or whatever. And then like I get this, you know, notification from PayPal and I see like $5,000. And I was like, am I being scammed? Like, what the hell
Wow.
is that? It's like, who the hell sending me $5,000? So I go and
Yeah.
I pull up the website, and funny enough, it was John Legend's name because she paid. I guess she used his PayPal.
I
So
really enjoy that woman. Like she didn't
so
go
first I
business
see
well
his
with that
She
name,
man.
used his stuff. I love it.
and
Give
then
me the
she
login,
signed it
John.
like under, you know, under it. She like because she follows me on Twitter, so she signed and she left the note and was like, you know, I look forward to seeing you go after your dreams and something like that. And then she's like Chrissy Teigen at the bottom, and I lost it.
Why am I
Like,
emotional? Like
I literally dissolved into a puddle of like tears. I called my mom, my boyfriend. Mind you, I was at work. I got nothing done. I was supposed to finish work at like 6 that morning. I think I left at 9 because I had to do the whole lab over because I had jacked
You
it up
were
so bad because
stoked.
I couldn't even get my mind together about what had
Yes.
just happened. And I left work, drove to the school that morning and paid the down payment down and was
Hello.
like, let's go. Like it had went viral. It was crazy. It went viral. I was like on Today's Show. I was on everything. And like for me,
Aw.
it wasn't even like about that. It was more so of like I was doing all of this stuff and I was like, I was so hell bent on getting this license. And I was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. If I got to eat ramen
Mhm.
noodles, you know, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to
Yeah.
get this money so that I can go to school. And, you know, when she paid that, like that took so much pressure off of me so I could
Yeah.
just go to school and enjoy the experience and learn everything. And I had such a fantastic experience at school, but that really kind of, it changed my
Trajectory.
it changed my trajectory. And
Absolutely.
I think like Ivy said, and somebody else had said the same thing too, and I think he was one of the people who ended up on Beyonce.com up too. And what stuff like that happens when a celebrity kind of like they basically spotlight you or whatever, it kind of like ups your credibility
Yeah.
everywhere else.
Mhm.
So it's like when she did that, like it brought so many influx of new customers and people that way
Absolutely.
towards your brand. All of a sudden, the stuff that I was saying about skincare, if they weren't paying attention, then now everybody want to pay
I mean,
attention.
look at
now.
Chrissy Teigen's skin. People are just gonna assume that you don't be doing her
Right.
face.
So
They're
like
gonna be
everybody
"Oh,
was
wait."
like, if Chrissy Teigen paid for her to go to school, she must know what she's talking about. You know what I mean? Like stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it definitely like it catapulted me there, even online. And that's how and even then I wasn't even like the skincare bully then. That kind of came a couple years, maybe a year or two later. But
Yeah.
because of how I had started posting and tweeting, like I had started the brand. I started
Yeah.
branding myself a certain way at that point, and then it turned into skincare bully. But like that was
Yeah.
really what kind of like inked it for me. Like I felt like all the stars had aligned at the perfect time, and
Yeah.
everything that I was trying to do and everything that I was unsure about, when that happened, I was like, "That's it right there. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
doing."
And you know what's funny? So that right there is the main reason why I have I'm going to be wealthy. I am attracting
Yes.
wealth every day because I want to be able to help people in that way. That's like
It's the energy level.
that's what
It is.
matters to me. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to be wealthy to buy designer bags and shit. No. I want to that's literally my purpose on this world, on this planet, is to empower others. And right now it's with the work that I do, it's me being able to read people's natal charts and things of that nature. And as I continue to grow my wealth, it's gonna be me randomly sending somebody 5 or 10K because I'm like,
Listen.
damn,
Yeah.
she about to go to
And-
esthetician school. She need this
Yeah.
money. I remember what it's like. Here you go. That's why-
Same. That's I
Listen.
definitely like for me, because just like, you know, like Zara said, like for me, I'm my goal right now is to double what I'm making now going into next year.
Exactly.
Like I'm trying to keep, you know, and I'm trying to put myself, and not even trying, I am putting myself in a position to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, hiring people, you know, moving, you know, stuff out of my house into like another space so that I've expanded the space to put things and everything else. Because I moved into my house because in my apartment I couldn't fit anymore. I had grown up the space, and moving into a 4-bedroom house, I outgrew that space in 6 months.
Ashe. Oh my God.
So it was like from that space of time from last year, you know, and I would say the pandemic was good for me. I don't know how else to put it in a way that it benefited my business in a positive way. That's the best way that I can put it. Like it.
And if that's the case, that's your reality, and that
right.
If that's
you know
what,
I mean?
if
like,
that's your reality, then you get to say that, and it doesn't take away from the way it impacted people in a negative way.
I'm trying to acknowledge that, like, you know, of course, the pandemic was just shitty across the board.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But business wise, for me, it tripled my sales.
Mm-hmm.
Like it literally from March, it just went. And it took off and it never looked back. And when it took off, I ran with it. And I was like, well, this is what we're going to keep doing so we can get the ball going with this.
I feel like the pandemic was my aha moment. Like it.
I think it was for a lot of us.
The pandemic itself was literally because I kept, and it's funny listening to you guys, you know, talk about everything you're talking about, because like I can like literally say like, yeah, I felt that exact same way. Like, yeah, this exact same thing was happening. I didn't know that I wanted to start a business. I just felt like what I was doing wasn't helping other people. And I was just kind of like, well, why am I doing it? You know, I don't feel like I'm giving back. I don't feel like I'm helping people. And I, like Deidre said, I wanted to be in that position to where if a content creator needed a new camera, I had the money to buy her camera, because like I needed that person when I was a young content creator. And I was like, well, how do I work for a nonprofit. Like, how do I put myself in the position financially to where I can do that? So then the idea for the thrift store didn't even come about until later. It was me constantly saying, well, I would start a business or I would start doing this other thing, you know, to bring in revenue, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this.
Speaking that,
literally just saying, I don't have enough time. And next thing you know, universe was just like, I'll give you all the time in the damn world. Whole world shutting down. Let's see what you do with that. And it's like, I'm not saying, you know, that's the reason why it happened, because it was just like meant to be in the stars for me, because obviously no. But yeah, like
it was though.
It was like that I was literally sitting at home, you know, remote working, getting my work done. And of course I'm always busy at work, but it's just like being home, I had all this time to think and be like, how do I do this? And I started thinking about just like my closet. At the time, I was really heavy into brand partnerships and stuff like that. I was a Fabletics partner. I was working with Shein. I was working with all these other brands who were sending me clothes and clothes and clothes and clothes. And I would wear it, post it, and then it would stay in my closet. So I was just like, I need to find a way to get rid of this clothes. And then the idea for the thrift store came about. So when I started the thrift store, you couldn't tell me that I wouldn't still be doing, you know, thrift store and all that stuff a year later. But as the thrift store went on, I started to realize like, okay, I love doing this, but the amount of work that I'm putting in, the amount of nights that I'm staying up till 2 and 3 in the morning compared to the amount of revenue that I'm getting back, you know, and considering like shipping, like that's when I knew like, okay, bitch, you own a business. Cause I was like shipping costs and like, I was like accounting and shit, like,
cause your packaging is popping like,
like, thank you.
But
like, I was just, you know, considering all these expenses that like go into the business and just like figuring myself out, and it just wasn't working. And you can ask my husband, like I legit was like crying like, oh my God, what did I do? Because people legit put money into my business to help me start it. Like my community of people was like, yes, I'll donate to help you launch this thing, right? So I felt so bad when it wasn't working. And I was just like, how is it 3 months later I'm already realizing it's not working? And I was like freaking out. So I started experimenting with earrings, and like, let me somebody told me like add another product to the store to try to just boost your revenue. And as I was like creating the earrings, I legit was like having fun and like just so relaxed when I was creating it. And if you know me, you know I'm a person who I don't stay still. I don't do things for hours at a time.
I was like, you need to be more creative. I said, spend time just being creative and watch how you feel.
there was nothing in my life at that point that I was doing just because I liked doing it, right? Photography, that was for Instagram. Just all the stuff I was doing, it was some form of content. When I started making earrings, and it's a long process, and I don't think people realize this, so I love being able to say this on the podcast. The earrings that I make take anywhere from 24 to 72 hours just to set, just to like come out of the mold, and then I have to do more to them. So this was like this days long process that I'm just like working and trying things, and things are failing and all that stuff. Like, and then when they went on the website and people were like, yo, we love these, I was like,
yeah, they're beautiful.
Like, I didn't know that that's what I was supposed to be doing. The earrings were to help the thrift store, but then they started kind of coming to the forefront, and then me realizing like, yo, I love to do this. Like,
and the new collection.
Thank you, girl.
Yeah, and so what you're kind of describing is what I learned when I was in Florida last week. And it's like emotional currency. I was talking to a guy who runs the boats, and I was like, what keeps you motivated? He's like, I don't feel like I'm working. Like, I get to go out on the water, have a great time, and then I know I made my money by the time I get back to the dock. Well, before I even left the dock, I made my money. So
that
like
part.
For you to have, like, you know, you drop your collection and they're sold out. Like, that is like, you know, you had so much fun.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like when that started happening and it was selling out, like I thought I would be stressed because I was like, wow, like my inventory is gone. Now I have to create new inventory. Like I got to work again. When it sold out, I was just like, yay, I get to make more earrings. Like I was so excited.
When it don't feel like work, that's how
exactly. Like it stopped feeling like work. And for me, that was the moment where I was just like, wow, like this is what I should be doing. But one thing I have noticed since I started the business, which is my next question for you guys, is I've had a lot of friends who are either like, you know, good for you, like you're starting a business. I think everyone should have a business. Or there have been people who are just like, I wish I had a business. Like, I feel like I need to be doing something, you know? Personally, I don't feel like it's something everyone needs to do.
It's not everybody's cut out for it.
So yeah, it's plug myself. So for me, it's less that not everyone's cut out for it. For me, it's more of like, I don't feel like everyone should feel pressured to have something that's like legit or like their business, you know?
Right.
So of course you should have a side hustle, you should have like your things, but I don't think everyone needs to feel the pressure to be a business owner.
Yeah.
So do you guys agree or?
Not everybody. And when I said not everybody's cut out for it, it's not so much the business. Some people are just, that's not what their life path is. Some people because guess what? The businesses that exist, those businesses need to run. There are some people who are better meant to operate a business. And like me, I'm better at operating a business. So even the business I have, it's one-on-one work with people. It's not something with a ton of overhead. It's not something that requires, I can do my work anywhere in the world. I'm not meant to run a business that needs a specific building. And when my business gets to that point, you know what I'm going to get is a bomb-ass operations manager because I'm not cut out to do that. Not everybody is wired or meant to own the business. Some people are the ones who run it. Even me, when I was an office manager, the person who owned the company was like, don't talk to me about nothing. Talk to Deidre. She knows where everything is. She's in charge here. Some people, that's their role in life. And a lot of us don't know that because society has us conditioned to believe that the only way to be considered successful is if you've started this business and grown it and amassed all this wealth. And they're shitting on the 9-to-5ers, and it's like the 9-to-5ers are why you
do run the business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The 9-to-5ers are just as valuable as the people who own the business. So that's the thing is, I think what's more important is everybody getting to a point of realizing that every single individual is meant for something different. And if we spend more time learning ourselves and mastering ourselves, then we do what we're meant to do and we all succeed. Because if everybody's chasing the same thing, the only people who are going to succeed at it are the people that's meant for it.
I totally agree with that. I just feel like everyone should have an LLC. I'm a part of LLC.
Oh God.
Just for tax implications.
Okay. No, I want to hear about this. Yeah.
Like, you know, your family should have some kind of trust or fund or something that y'all can jointly put money in. That way you can write off getting your hair done, write off your clothing, write off like your kids, all those kinds of things. I think that from a business aspect, operating, no, but from a family aspect, there has to be some kind of tax implication. And
no, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
That is my own, because not everybody's cut out to do a business. Like half the businesses I started, I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna we've all rebranded ourselves in some kind of way. To fit our own needs in that moment, in that time. But it's always been running. Like even if you don't use your LLC, you can always sell an LLC like for the age. So that like it's just, I feel like that's just an investment, that everyone should have.
Like half these businesses are gone before 5 years. Most small businesses do not make 5 years. So you sitting down pressure somebody to own a business, like it's owning a business is not for the weary.
It's not
because
say that.
I have had my days where I'm like, yo, do you really want to do this? Like, is this what you want to do? Like, and I tell people quickly, I said, I have been doing this for 9 years. I said the past year or so, whatever, is probably like when everything like skyrocketed for me the most. I said, so if you think that you're gonna just hop on a business and think all of a sudden for everybody that you're gonna be one of those people that's gonna just make it big and hit 6 figures in 6 months, you're gonna play yourself and you're gonna get your feelings real hurt. Like if you're not being realistic about it. And I'm not saying that it can't happen, but the majority of people, it does not. And that's just the reality of it. And so because you're going into in a business trying to just make money before you just trying to enjoy what you do.
Exactly.
Forget it. Because for me, I love skincare. I can talk about skincare all day on the beach. When I went to Buck Island, I was in there teaching these people about sunscreen on the boat. Okay, giving out sunscreen tips. Like that's how much like skincare like means to me. So of course I can make money from it because that's what I do. But I love talking about skincare, period. Regardless of what I'm getting paid for it or not. So when you try to force people to start a business just because to make some money, they're gonna be miserable as hell. In a couple months to a year when they're not making no money, they're doing some shit that they don't really want to do, or it was a hobby, and now you done turn their hobby into work, so now they're miserable because now they don't have shit to do for fun.
Whatever you're doing, you still have to do your accounting, you still have to do your research, you still have to, if you have employees, you still have to do your taxes for them.
You still gotta pay everybody, you still gotta do all of that stuff. So
like with customers, we haven't deal with customers.
Oh yes. And everybody want to tell you their life story and you have to like, yes.
There are other people and other energies that you have to deal with. Like there is stress that comes in when you don't perform as well as you wanted to one month. And like a lot of times you have to do a lot of introspection and deal with yourself. And that's one thing I had to learn to do. Like, y'all, I'm back in therapy for personal reasons because I think therapy is great, but like I literally brought my business into that first conversation with my therapist and was like, I'm letting you know now I'm a small business owner. She was like, I'm glad you told me that. And she was like, a lot of times people have external stressors that they don't even consider is altering who they are as people or how they feel about themselves. And she was like, I'm glad you brought up your business because like in terms of anxiety, like that could have a lot to do with it. But like there are days where like this weekend I feel great, things are going well. But then there will be a week where like my site traffic is down and I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do? Like, do I need to do something else? There's a lot of patience and grace that needs to come into business ownership, and people don't talk about that enough.
Right.
And
You're
it
right.
really frustrates me.
I remember one time, this was right before we were going to get featured on PBS. And I was up at 4 a.m. in the back painting, and I straight had a panic attack. I was snotty nose crying, just painting and crying my eyes off, like, I don't know if I could do this. And painting. Had to go direct employees, had to go cook, had to put up curtains, do all kind of thing, and still be pretty for a million people to watch me. So
yeah, that's like, a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, but at the end, that was a 18-hour day for me. But after it was like fine.
Definitely. You gotta cry through it, get through it.
Get through it.
At the end of the day, get through it.
Get through it. And I always say finish well.
Mhm.
finish well.
Doesn't it
Therapist
seem
had to
like
do the same thing with me. She too knows that I have a small business, and I think I started therapy last summer, and like she helped me get to the point of me realizing that it was okay for me to get the help that I needed to get, because I was like literally like drowning. Like I was doing all of this stuff by myself, you know, even like with my kids, because I have two small kids. So like even with their dad, he works outside, so he's out during the day or whatever. So I have the kids most of the time when I'm working, and trying to do that with the business and everything else. And like I'm like, I need help. And she was basically like, you know, it's okay.
I
Like,
literally
get
think,
help.
yeah, I think that's probably the best advice that I've ever received from a therapist, and it seems so simple. Like, is someone is having someone telling you like you can't do it all. She was like, you know, I know you want to believe that you can. I know that people want you to feel like, no, you absolutely can do it all. Like,
it's your
but
culture.
yeah, she was like, you physically and mentally cannot do it all. Now, can you do it all at maybe different times? Can you do it all in different phases of your life? Can you do it separately at different parts of the year? Yes. But can you do it all on a Monday, hey, Isa? No. Like, I was at this place in my life where I was just like, I'm trying to run my business, run a podcast, run my Instagram, go to work, be a fiance at the time, now a wife, like all in the same day.
Yeah.
And wondering why I was going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And just being like, why can't I do it all, bitch? Nobody can do
you physically can. And it's so funny because I was waiting for everybody, you know, to wrap up so I could ask, like, what are you guys' self-care? Like, do you realize that, yeah, we do have big jobs to do. However, the most important job is to take care of you so that you can do those jobs, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So yes, we have these businesses to run that we take pride in. But one of the best things we can do is invest in reliable help and let them take care of it and take care of ourselves. You got two small kids at home. You got, girl, take a nap. And and exactly. And that's my, let me tell you,
but that's the
schedule
thing.
naps I have naps every day.
Listen, I'm militant with my self-care. Like I get up rigid with my self-care.
Listen, you ain't hear what I tell you? I don't even know what my calendar look like. Go on Instagram, hit book now, because when I first started doing my readings, I took pleasure in managing my calendar, right? Because it don't feel like work. I love what I do. This is home. I am doing what I was called to do. And every day I get better at it. I learn something new. But even as I was managing my calendar, I didn't mind managing the calendar. But then I realized you have to set time aside to manage your calendar. That time you just spend managing your calendar, you could do one more reading. Find an automation system to manage your calendar for you. You know, little things like that. When we outsource certain things, then we have even more to put into what we're doing.
I tell people, don't work hard, work smart.
So
creating your systems, learning how to delegate, having a schedule, having phases, having action steps.
Exactly.
Those things are little things, but those things make the difference from burnout to scaling. You cannot do it by yourself, but you could start by yourself, but you need a team. You need to scale. If you want to scale and really have something that has longevity, you have to put these systems in place. Else you could be doing the same thing for 10 years and then looking like an old woman when you're only 12.
One of the things, especially with Black people, is this notion of, you know, always getting it out the mud. Or you gotta do everything else. If you ain't doing everything yourself, you're lazy. Why you can't do this yourself? Because you know how we grew up having to, you know, clean everything, cook everything. So when, you know, you get older and some people start doing stuff, you know, hiring to do other things, they start, oh, why she can't? But she can't cook, she can't clean, she don't know how to clean her own house. Why she can't? And you don't realize how much of those things, and even so, like I didn't even grow up hearing some of the stuff from my own family members, but I've heard it from other people, and you don't realize how much it sticks to you until you're an adult and you're trying, you know, your life has, you know, like basically blown up in your face, and you're trying to do all this stuff that you normally could have done in the past. But because you're so busy and life has changed and stuff has increased in your life that you can't do all these things. Last year, as much money as I made, I looked like this half the time because I was so stressed out.
Can't even enjoy
I was
it.
I
so
believe it.
I was so
Disoriented as hell.
tired.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating good. Like I was just all over the place because trying to run this business, trying to stay on track and do everything until, like I said, when I started doing therapy and she kind of broke me out of it. And when you said the self-care thing, I started to laugh because she asked me the same thing and I laughed then too.
Well, shout out to the therapist though. Everybody having a therapist, shout out, because mental health is a real thing, and
It really is.
we need to normalize it.
Self-care.
Because of
Self-care is therapy.
Because
We need to normalize it. You need to normalize
because
it.
of that, going into like 2021, I took the whole of January off. After like, because my Black Friday sales were so massive, like I took January, I bought 2 first class tickets. I took me and my kids home because I hadn't been home in like 5 years. So of course my kids never been there. Took them home. I spent the whole month with my family.
Nice.
And guess what? I did nothing. I had intent and purposes that I was going to do like content or whatever. No, I did nothing.
Something I want to highlight is for the audience is that people put a lot of emphasis on money, which is one resource, but the most important resource is time.
Definitely.
As a business owner, your time is the most important thing. So if I could spend, is my time more worthy washing dishes or strategically planning for my next big sale? Like, so I might delegate washing the dishes so I could spend time on this. And you have to have free head space to do that. You can't do that when you're juggling this, doing this.
I had to really get to that point. I had to mentally get myself out of trying to do all this stuff. Because not only physically I could not, but also mentally I was stressing myself out and making myself anxious because of all the stuff that I had to do that I couldn't get to. It was so bad one day, like I almost got an anxiety attack about dishes in my sink. And I had to stop myself. I'm like, Mercedes, put the shit in the dishwasher and turn it on. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And run that shit twice if you have to.
Yeah.
Like,
run your fucking, listen.
Like, why are you stressing out about washing dishes when you could just put it in the dishwasher? Like, I was bugging.
When I started my restaurant, I used to literally work 16, 18 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months. I never saw the sun for 6 months. And one day I went into the shower and I did this and my hair was in my hand. I was like, what is going on here? I went to the doctor. There's nothing physically wrong with you, but I'm a 30-something-year-old with high blood pressure. I gain all these other stress-related symptoms. You can't do it. Like, you physically will die if you don't stop and put systems in place. No, I don't have to be in my business and I can just look online and see what's going on. Like, you have to learn how to really step away, because you could own a business and be self-employed. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be a CEO. As you don't see the owner of McDonald's in any McDonald's scooping French fries or anything. You have to have a system. And if it's no system, then it's not going to work.
With everything that you've learned about business and everything that you're working on now with your own babies, like, what is the ultimate goal, if there is one?
My ultimate goal is to either have a building or a space where I make my products out of, where is it like a warehouse space with office space, and then attached to it a spa or treatment area to do aesthetics work for my brand. So it's like all in one space, so you can come, or it'd be a treat. Well, yeah, and with a storefront selling my products as well. That's like my goal business wise. But I also want to kind of like do like more like pop-ups and do more speaking engagements, skincare wise, from in different places across the country.
My goal is freedom, and having like six different incomes coming in, and half naked in the middle of the jungle somewhere, being Jane, looking at my Tarzan.
I want to be able to have this farm market concept that in food deserts across the nation. So you like, in inner cities, all over Black communities. And my own personal goal is actually, I want my own TV show where I'm going across the world looking at different farming techniques. And I want to be like
Yeah.
Jane Goodall, like, I I think if I can get paid to travel and do all these things and like talk about
Take
different
me with you.
Mhm.
yeah, that is my ultimate goal, to be like, because I always looked at like Anthony Bourdain or all these people who go different places, and I'm like, dang, I've never seen a Black woman be able to go into these different tribes and learn
Mhm.
these different kinds of concepts. Like, I want to see all different kinds of ceremonies. I want to see all different kinds of rituals, and I want to try all the different things that they
Yes.
do, and experiment with that, and then be the face of Black exploration, because we have not had
Mm.
anyone.
It's true.
We haven't had anyone be the face of Black exploration and then have fun
Ever.
and then be getting paid. Yeah, ever.
Exactly. You
Like,
said the last
like
part,
I
have
want to be
fun.
in India. Yeah, like I want to be in India, like cooking with the fire and like learning different techniques of Africa and how
Let's
they
do
use
it together. Let's do it together.
Yeah, amen. Let's
Right?
do it. Like that is my
I'm here
goal.
for it.
That is my goal. And yeah, because we haven't had enough. We haven't got
Exactly.
and then retire as mayor of Houston.
The ultimate goal, like Zara said, is freedom, right? Have the freedom to do what I want. But as for the work that I'm currently doing, my overall goal is to implement and normalize astrology as a parenting tool. So you guys are going to be seeing books. You guys are going to be
Nice.
seeing tools specifically for the school system. You guys are going to be seeing at some point me opening up a school for highly sensitive children. This is my end goal in the work that I do, because a lot of the readings that I do and things of that nature, it ends up being highly sensitive people who have gone their whole lives not knowing how to handle it and deal with it, and us working together, and even myself still learning to navigate that. But in any case, using astrology as a normal parenting tool, but also an education tool.
The dream goal for me is the freedom to choose. I want to be a philanthropist because there are
Me
not
too.
enough Black philanthropists, and there are not enough philanthropists who genuinely want to help people. I work at a
Mhm.
community foundation. Y'all,
Help Black people.
especially, but like a lot of these organizations, like
It's just tax write-offs for them.
it's tax write-offs, it's a money cycle, right? That's one thing people need to learn about philanthropy. They call them the ivory towers. Like, it looks good, it feels good, but a lot of the times philanthropy is a lot like seeing a person on the side of the road with a flat tire and handing them your cell phone but not helping them with fixing the flat tire.
This is a good way, Jay, to close the episode, right? This is one of my favorite quotes, and I heard it for the first time like 6 years ago, and it stuck. And ever since then, I've been more mindful. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you put your attention on what you're scared of, that's where the energy is going to flow. If you put your attention on what you want and what you're manifesting, that's where the energy is going to flow. This was a good episode, you guys.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
This was a really good episode.
Yeah,
Jay, you know,
Deidre always has a new favorite episode every time we record. Every time we record. But no, legit, this is probably one of my favorites too.
Yeah.
I want to go around and make sure that you guys are given the time to, speak about what you're working on next and where people can find you, because y'all didn't just get all this free advice for no reason. Okay,
Hello.
listeners. I love you guys. I want you guys to get the goods from us always, but I also want you to pour back into our guests. So if you guys could go, of course, one by one, and let us know, where can we find you? What are you working on? What's next? What do you need from our listeners? How can they spend their money on you?
You can find me at the Ivy Files on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at Ivy Leaf Farms on Instagram and Twitter as well. And the best way you can support me is just to bring my name up in a conversation about anything. Put me into the rooms that you feel gracious in, that you feel blessed in, and let's connect and network. I'm really focused on bringing fresh fruit and vegetables and beautification to neighborhoods across the world. So if you're looking for a Black farmer, female farmer, I'm her.
If you're interested in like skincare content, you can find me at Crujan Chocolate on board Twitter and Instagram, CRUZANCHOKLATE. And then my business accounts, all things Ixora, and finding about our products or getting a skincare consultation, any of that sort, you can across the board, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the website is IXORABB, and it's IXORABB.com. And that's all things Ixora. But yeah, but Crucian Chocolate is my personal like branding account, where I talk about various parts of skincare. I talk about products. I talk about skin overall, health, reminding you, in my own way to, do your skincare routines. Just kind of like giving you tips on things in regards to your routine, about products, about ingredients. I love talk about skincare education and just kind of like teaching you about the science behind of it, because that's probably like my favorite part about skincare, the science behind of it, and the chemistry of how it works and how it works with your skin and all of that good stuff. So you can definitely find me there. And if you're interested in buying products, I very much suggest my most probably popular line, which is the Donkey Milk line. That line has really been like the game changer for me. And basically, Donkey Milk is it's a milk, and it's great for anti-inflammatory, or it's great for inflammatory issues, everything from eczema to acne, psoriasis, rosacea, dry sensitive skin, any of that good stuff you're dealing with, those products will help you with. And it works on babies all the way up the age chain. And if you're looking for hyperpigmentation based stuff, I have also my brightening lotion, which also can work on any skin type. It's great for the face and body, and it does not irritate your skin, because the way how it works, it was formulated for like the most sensitive of skin or acne or whatever else. So you can pair it with other products. You can pair it even if you're on tretinoin, you can use that product. So so if you always have any questions, you definitely can find me on Twitter. You can email me at mercedes@ixorabb.com as well. And yeah, that's me.
Well, I have several things going on, so bear with me. I'll go down the list because I believe in multiple streams. So at the end of this month, I'll be publishing a book on Amazon. It's a natural hair book. I've been natural all my life, so I put down all my secrets from my great-grandmother come down in that book. It's going to come with a starter kit that has everything you need for someone who wants to be natural or is natural and lost. I have nutrition guide in there. I have what to put on your body, styling techniques, different like tricks that I've used over the years. So that look out for that on zaramuse.com. I also am coming out with another book called The Secret Sauce to Becoming a Six-Figure Brand. This is some of the gems that I learned in my restaurant business. So look out for that. You can also find it at zaramuse.com. I also host events for women, intergenerational events that teach us the soft skills and the skills that you can't find in a book. And you can get linked up with me at ladyinfluence.com. And my restaurant is jerksoul.com, so you can see me there as well.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I am excited for the listeners to hear this episode, but we are glad to be back. We have so many more amazing episodes planned for you guys this season. So make sure that you're tuning in weekly. You can find us everywhere by searching the Good Up Podcast or at Good Up Pod. Don't forget about Patreon if you want exclusive content, finding out about our schedule, the behind the scenes stuff, bonus episodes, you name it. We're working on it. Shout out to
our patrons.
Yeah,
thank you guys
shout
so
out
much.
to our Good Up patrons, because you guys keep the lights on. You keep things going. Literally, you keep the lights on. So we appreciate you.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, you can find, I realized this episode that we don't do this enough. Deidre can be found and booked at Finding Deidre, because there are things that we do that don't involve the podcast.
You know what? There are, I have to remember that. I need to do a better job of like marketing myself.
And plugging yourself in. Yeah. Make sure you go support Deidre and her endeavors, and get y'all natal chart readings done, guys. If y'all want to shop some earrings, make sure you visit themashacompany.com. Guys, I am working hard. Like, I literally
Your earrings are popping. They're
Thank you.
stunning. They're
but like
stunning.
I wish that y'all could see my setup right now. Like, I have my computer, but it's laying on top of like a cover that's laying on top of earrings. Like, I'm covered in them right now. So I'm working hard on a restock. Make sure you support the store. If you visit the store and by any chance you see an earring that you fell in love with but it's out of stock, just sign up for the emails. I got you. They'll be back eventually. But y'all, thank you guys so much for being on here. We will check back in with our listeners right back here next week. Make sure that you're following everybody on this podcast, and yeah, we will see you guys later. Deidre, tell the people them bye.
Bye.